And that can only happen from the privatization process, which really delivers both private sectors, small and medium enterprises, and that's exactly what we are saying, that we need to be exempted for us to be agile and efficient in mobilizing and deploying those resources. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Hooker.
Just wait, Mary. So we need to be exempted by who?
I shared already with the nominee CS for Investment and Trade to help us progress that exemption process. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think what we should be saying in a nutshell is that we have a bad privatization law. Simply put. And instead of helping us with privatization, it has actually stalled the whole privatization agenda, and it is not possible under the current law to carry out the privatization process that we have a plan to. So I have given instructions to Moses that if it is not possible for us to amend that law in our first 100 days in office, let us repeal it. You know, we did so much without the law. We've done so little. We have actually done nothing. Let's just put it. We've done nothing with the law. So I think it's just time we call a spade a spade. All these good people are just dancing with good words around something that we should just be able to call it what it is. I think what is expected of us is whatever we have to do as government, we must do it so that in the next 12 months, we have between 6 and 10 companies listed at the stock exchange as we democratize the wealth we have that is owned by government, so that the public can have a slice, a piece of it. Yeah? So I think what is cut out for Moses here, and I am happy that Moses was one of those people are called what? Traders. This Moses was a trader in the stock exchange. So there is no lessons for him to learn from anybody. He knows what he must do. So, and I deliberately took investment from Treasury to trade, because we need to accelerate that process. So, in short, as we prepare between 6 and 10 companies for listing in the stock exchange in the next 12 months, and I promise you we will deliver on that commitment. I also want to encourage the private sector. As we bring 10 companies, please bring 5 from the private sector. You know, working with the capital markets, I think it is possible, Nesbitt and your team, and the stock exchange, Kibrono and your team, to work with us in the public sector and work with the others in the private sector, so that we can unlock the potential that we have in both spreading wealth and also raising capital that is not debt. Debt is weighing down our government and our companies. So it's very important that we go that direction. Let me also say to the private companies, I am told the private companies are reluctant to come to the stock exchange because there are tax issues that may arise if they disclose whatever it is. I want to promise the private sector companies, whatever tax issues may arise, as government, we are willing to work with you so that we can remove any impediments. We are ready to forgive some sins. Let me put it that way. Yeah? So that we can all move together. Yeah? We can all move together. So We're very clear, and we want to work with you so that we can unlock the potential that exists through the NSC. Sorry, I took a lot more time.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Let's give a round of applause because you have also become my co-moderator this morning. Mr. Chair, let me come to you now. Ken Invest has played a critical role in attracting investment, in positioning Kenya as an investment destination, but there are also several other government agencies that are seemingly playing a similar role. What needs to be done to, one, align to ensure that there's one more clarified investor engagement, as well as to provide more clarity within that space?
Thank you very much, Terry-Ann, for that question. Indeed, there are several agencies that are promoting investments, facilitating investors, but there is only one that is mandated by law, and that is Kenya Investment Authority. So it is our desire that we have all FDI register with Ken Invest so that you're able to collate and collect data, which also would inform our state of investments. Currently, we don't know how many investors come in because they come in through different channels. They come in through Ken Invest, they come in through other government agencies, they come in through private companies. Lawyers are also registering investors in this country. So we don't have sufficient data in terms of where they're investing, how much they're investing, how much employment comes in, you know, how much foreign employees are there, Kenyan employees. So it's only if we collate these, get all the FDI to register with Ken Invest, if you could make it mandatory registration, either through law or directive, it would really help us move forward. Secondly, in terms of the National Investment Council, Your Excellency, it is our ask that if we could operationalize the National Investment Council, which has been in our Act, the Investment Promotion Act, since 2004. This, under your leadership, would bring the cabinet secretaries who are in charge of the sectors that cut across the National Treasury, the Council of Governors, CS for Lands, and the secretary being the CS in charge of investments, the incoming Moses Kuria. So it is our ask, Your Excellency, that you could operationalize the National Investment Council. This would definitely be a game changer in terms of dealing with investor concerns in a more efficient, in a more well researched and a timely manner. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Mr. President, would you like to?
Terry-Ann, you have to be careful because we might have to share the stipend for moderation at this rate. Yes, I want to confirm to Madam Racher here, that one of the deliverables that I have committed myself to in that investment space is to operationalize the National Investment Council. That you can count on my support. So that we can think through and we can provide leadership in that whole space of investment. There was something else that has escaped my mind I wanted to say, but I will remember. But Moses Kuria, I have taken a lot of time to have this conversation with him. We have it in our manifesto. If you look at our manifesto, we have said we are going to explore alternative sources of raising money for investment and for development. And we have listed the sale of profitable government entities to Kenyans as part of that strategy. So it is not a sterile provision in our manifesto. It is something we intend to deliver on. And I am very happy that even though we were thinking in a different environment, I am very happy to listen to what the players, the actors in the stock exchange are saying. and they are perfectly in tandem with the plan we put in the manifesto.
All right. Thank you, Your Excellency. Dr. America, I would like to come to you now, and pension funds have been mentioned quite a bit this morning. How can NSSF mobilize funds to raise the capital, the national savings rate, in order to increase investment capital and, of course, the investable universe in the capital markets?
Thank you, Terian. There's a profound opportunity in playing bigger in the NSC through savings. We have a critical mass of Kenyans who are underserved, mostly people who are in the informal sector. And this number is huge, over 15 million Kenyans who are not in any pension scheme. Now, with a quick calculation, backed by the incentive that the government has promised to give, I think with quick math and take, for example, if we only get 2 million of these underserved Kenyans under the ambit of NSSF, and we have the infrastructure already. We have a product called the Haba Haba that allows Kenyans of that cadre to contribute as little as 25 shillings a day, which translates to 500 shillings a month, which plugs into the 6,000 that the government spoke to. Now, if they contribute, if they match that ratio, the 2-to-1 ratio, I think at the end of the year, we'll have 3 times. The amount of money that we collect currently will increase threefold. And as you know, NSSF plays a critical role in the NSC. Our footprint is 3%. If you compound that and add the new monies, I think we'll move from the 65 billion that we're investing in the NSC to maybe over 180 billion. And that will translate to enhancing the NSC. And the multiply effect of that will also be that Kenyans will be able to contribute into the new entrance into the stock market. Currently, we play in around 29 counters in the NSC. I think in some of the good stocks we've reached our internal limits, and we want to encourage that new players come into the market. On the second, okay, thank you. On the second point, it is very important to ensure that the government borrows locally, and through mobilization of savings, both in NSSF and in the greater pension sector, I think will work well to reduce our debt burden in that area. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd like to rope in the CEO of NIFCA, Oscar Njuguna. NIFCA was set up to be East Africa's leading financial hub, providing an efficient gateway for investors and businesses to the African market. What are you doing currently to position Kenya as an investment hub, not only for East Africa, because it already is, but for Africa as a whole?
Thank you, Terian. The Nairobi International Financial Center is a new operating environment that's been set up to do exactly what we're talking about today, which is to position ourselves as not only the regional hub, but really a hub for Africa as a continent. So we've started off by putting in place the framework that is necessary and the building blocks for us to create this environment. We've looked at some of the issues that have been touched on, like the taxation for capital gains tax, and creating a framework for example, carbon trading. So we've put in place some building blocks, and in July, the center was officially opened, and we've had the first firm coming into Kenya, which is the Prudential Africa, the Africa headquarters for Prudential, which is one of the largest global insurers and asset managers. And we're looking at a startup segment as well for smaller firms that are looking to access capital and also use innovative ways of raising finance, like carbon trading. So there's a few firms that are looking at the NIFC as a venue for that. But really, we are looking at catalyzing the innovation across the financial sector, looking at new areas like fintech, but also carbon trading. So we've entered into a partnership with the Nairobi Securities Exchange and Air Carbon Exchange to really work out a way in which we can create the first East African carbon trading exchange that will enable businesses, especially businesses that are here, but also new businesses, to monetize the carbon that exists in the businesses that they're creating. And so we can move towards a trajectory of clean finance. I think in terms of the way we are looking at the future, the ambitions are quite high. The government has really been clear that we need to position ourselves as Africa's hub. And so one of the things that we are looking to doing is putting together a framework for the development of a regional hub within the country. We are looking at a flagship location that I think will serve as a home away from home for all the global investors and businesses that are looking to come into Kenya and use Nairobi as a base to do business across the continent. So we have a lot of ambition, and I think we're working with stakeholders to ensure that we can deliver on that ambition.
All right, thank you so much. Koskei, I'd like to come to you. A lot has been said about the Privatization Act and the Privatization Law. With the benefit of working within the Privatization Commission as Executive Director, what are your thoughts about what can be done? Repeal the Act or amend the Act?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that question. I think the issue around the review of the Act has been discussed, but I want to state it this way, that cognizant of the fact that the privatization process as envisaged today in the current Act is a bureaucratic process, we've taken a proactive role as a commission, and my chairman is here, to start that process of review of the Act. So as His Excellency has said that you would want to see either a repeal or an amendment within the next 100 days, I want to commit that that process has started. We've actually started mapping, our stakeholders in terms of engagement, and we are very convinced that within this particular period of time, we'll be able to have this Act amended. But I think more importantly, I would want to maybe bring to the attention of the audience that privatization is a very emotive issue. And what is really very critical to make it successful is stakeholder engagement. And we've done mapping and ensured as a commission that when we conduct this particular process, it is very transparent, it's very open and above board, so that then we are able to get support from the key stakeholders so that this particular process can be able to be moved forward. And I want to stress that if you look at the Act as it is, there are various benefits that come around with it. And one of them is what we call broadening the base. It gives an opportunity to all Kenyans, individuals, institutional investors, to be able to put in their resources and investments in government-owned enterprises, so that then we're able to see ownership by Kenyans. And another, again, is that we are there and we come in to deepen and be able to support capital markets. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Koskei. We're coming to an end now, but I'd like to take some final comments from Chairman and His Excellency. Chairman, there has been a mention of digital access. How does the border gentleman that has been mentioned earlier get to trade on his phone? I know Peter Ndegwa is here, so perhaps we can get a commitment from.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Terian. I'll just answer that very briefly. That has been addressed, and I'm glad to report that in the briefing session before we came in here, Peter Ndegwa made a commitment to His Excellency that Safaricom and other stakeholders in the ICT ecosystem would work towards creating more digital access. And I think it is noteworthy that Kenya is the only economy on the planet where 1/3 of our GDP is transacted on the phone. And that is, historical. And I think there's also going to be innovation to ensure greater access. One of the things that we did in the absence of any significant events like listings, which we've been looking for over the years, was a partnership we got into with Safaricom for Bonga points to shares. He also gave us a commitment that will be revitalized. We'll do more marketing so we can actually use that platform much more effectively. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Your Excellency, your final words?
Thank you very much. Let me say a couple of things. I am reliably informed by economists that investment is a function largely of savings, or it should be. If we do not have a savings culture, it becomes very difficult for us to participate meaningfully in investments. And that is why I have been on the case of trying to work with the entities that exist like NSSF and the others on matters to do with promoting the culture of savings. We all seated in this room know that it was decided maybe 30 years ago that you will save 10% of your earnings, but it was put a cap of to the extent of 200 shillings. So up to today, majority of the people on the roll of NSSF are paying 200 shillings. And it is ridiculous. We just got a ruling from the court a week ago that it is wrong for us to increase from 200 shillings. I find that, I don't know really what we are doing. So, and I have had a conversation with the board and management of NSSF, and we have agreed that we need to go and talk to the court again to ask them, surely, do we live in the same country? Because NSSF are telling me progressively it's getting to be more expensive to collect the 200 shillings. We may as well forget about it. Because it's becoming more expensive to provide the infrastructure to collect the 200 shillings. So we must drive that savings agenda from every corner. And I want us to persuade ourselves that savings is the right way to go. I am hoping that working with Parliament and working with the judiciary, we can arrive at a compromise where we can increase our savings. And I like the words of Mr. Kelly. He said, savings must be mandatory. There are not two ways about it. There are not two ways about it. And we will be persuading Parliament. Hopefully we should be able to persuade our courts so that we can all do the right thing and go the journey of saving. That's one thing I really want all of us to work on. Secondly, my two good friends at that extreme end, Nairobi, the financial services, the Nairobi Financial Services, is it?
Nairobi International Financial Center.
Nairobi International Financial Center. It's been there for 5 years. It's not a new organization. The CEO said it's a new organization. It's not. 5 years is not new. And they haven't moved much. Let's also be honest. The Privatization Commission, Mr. Kosgei there, is 13 years since we got the last company was listed. I think it will be fair to ask for a refund of salaries from those two gentlemen. Honestly, I mean, they haven't done the job they were hired to do, and because the job is based on results. If there are no results, it doesn't matter what you have been doing. So really, Mr. Kosgei and Mr. Njuguna, you guys must actually demonstrate to me why you should not refund the salaries we've been paying you. Because we had a vision for the International Financial Center. I have told Mr. Njuguna here that it must be, we must have results. The Privatization Commission, we cannot be lamenting about the law. It is in our power to change the law. We don't exist to obey the law. The law exists to serve us. If it is not serving us, we change. If it is not, if we cannot change, we repeal, so that we give ourselves the latitude to do the right thing. So I want to commit on behalf of these two gentlemen and Mr. Omerikwa there that we will provide the necessary leadership so that all these organizations can deliver on their mandate. And we will provide the necessary leadership. We will put together the legal infrastructure for us to be able to actualize what these organizations were meant to achieve. If again you look at our manifesto, these are instruments, or these are interventions we committed ourselves that we are going to work on. Finally, I don't want to take over your job, Terian. Finally, to the NSC and to the stakeholders in the entire capital markets ecosystem, I want to commit to you that we have Mr. Njuguna here and Moses Kuria. I have confidence in these gentlemen to deliver on our plan to make sure that we unlock the potential that exists in the NSC. Asante.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, you may take your seats, and I'd like to hand over now to Mr. Wanjohi.
We have another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to the panelists. Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, the panelists. Thank you, Terian Chebet. We may sit, Your Excellency, we may be seated. If it pleases Your Excellency, it is now my pleasure and privilege to invite Bwana Kiprono Kitone, to invite His Excellency the Deputy President, to invite Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, MC. Your Excellency, just, we had to cut my remarks briefly because of the time that we had to open the market. But let me just say very briefly that one of the things that I didn't mention earlier on is that we listed the first green bond. And I can see Mr. Kirade in the house. He can please be standing. We had Aecon green bond cross-listed with London, and he's been very successful in that initiative. Looking around the room, Your Excellency, I think there are many brides in the house. And for us as the exchange, as a groom, we will be asking you to be our chief negotiator, to use the words of Moses Kuria. Looking around the room, Vimal has been mentioned many times. I see people like Richard Ngatia, I see people like Joshua Chepkwony, I see people like Dr. Mishra, I see Joachim Westerveld, I see James Degwa, I see many leading investors in this country. And Your Excellency, we will be asking that you help us to speak with these people. Wafungue roho. Ili mali tulete kwa soko la hisa, ili wananchi wapate nafasi ya pia kuwa wawekezaji. So Your Excellency, our two requests will only be that we have more state-owned and owned enterprise listings. And Your Excellency, we as a private sector, we as a Nairobi Securities Exchange, we commit, we will do our part. It is now my singular, and with the other historical thing, apart from Your Excellencies being here, is I cannot remember the last time we've had a high-level function as this on time. I once visited Japan, and we were told, if you're asked to attend a function at 9, be there at 9:15. We expected Your Excellency at 9:15, you were here at 8:30. So we were all running around the lift. We almost broke our legs. But if this is the way Kenya is going to go, there's two things that business people like. One is timekeeping, and two is decisiveness. We like a yes or a no answer. And by the way, in business, a no answer is as good as a yes, because you save time. You can go and do something else if you're told no. So those are the two things we are seeing clearly in your administration, and we are very excited as a private sector. It is now my singular honor and privilege to invite His Excellency, the Deputy President of our Republic of Kenya, old friend of mine. Congratulations, sir, Your Excellency, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, all the players in the capital market, good morning. Mine is very brief, Your Excellency. First and foremost is to underscore that we were voted into office overwhelmingly by the people of Kenya on a platform of economic transformation. In that journey, in that quest, the capital markets industry is our very serious partner. And the presence of His Excellency the President this morning here underscores our serious commitment to partner with you for the economic transformation of this great republic and eventually to restore the dignity of the Kenyan people by improving the quality of lives. I want to confirm to you that we have very firm and strict instructions from the President to do whatever it takes to do away with the bureaucracy and red tape to facilitate and support investment. That you have our word, and we shall do what needs to be done, and the Investments Commission and National Assembly in the review of that law will roll out a very robust, extensive public participation so that the players can give their input so that we get the right law into place. Finally, let me also confirm to you that the problems that have been developed in this country has been a problem of leadership. Everything starts and ends with the leadership. Once you have the right leader in place to give leadership and direction, everything gets very easily done. I want to confirm from where I sit and my continuous engagement on a daily basis with our President. He's an easy president, he's an easy leader. He'll be available to you on short notice to discuss on what we need to do to improve investment and overall our economy. Our President has given a policy direction that his style of governance is one that is based on continuous engagement. And he is very clear that he doesn't know everything and is quite happy to be corrected and to be given new thinking to enrich his own thinking to be able to make the right decisions for this great country. With those few remarks, I ask you to be upstanding and put your hearts together. We welcome the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto.
Asanteni sana, tuketi chini. Thank you very much, Rigathi Gachagua, Deputy President, the Chairman of Capital Markets Authority, the Chairman of Nairobi Stock Exchange, captains and leaders of industry, wananchi watukufu, hamjambo. Our government is committed to delivering significant, rapid, inclusive, and sustainable socio-economic transformation by undertaking impactful interventions in 5 key pillars of our development agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a nation to feed. We have millions of Kenyan youth to employ. And we have to make affordable housing a reality in Kenya. We need a healthy nation of 50 million strong, happy citizens in good health. It is time for Kenyans to enjoy universal health coverage that invests in promotive and preventive interventions besides curative treatment. Our envisaged national transformation will be delivered on the back of a robust and empowered micro, small, and medium enterprise-sized enterprises sector, and it is also time to invest in a digital superhighway to facilitate young Kenyans to plug more firmly and deeply into the global digital economy, thereby enabling them create jobs, generate incomes on an unprecedented scale. In implementation efforts towards these priorities are the game changers of our socio-economic system that will unleash tremendous potential positive change while creating millions of jobs and dramatically increasing earnings and wealth. This grand assignment we have committed to requires the investment of immense amounts of resources at a time when we have tremendous challenges connected with the state of our public finances. A lot of our revenue is committed to servicing our financial obligations, and financing development is becoming even more challenging in our country. Yet, we cannot defer the possibilities that will be unlocked through investment in critical enablers of rapid transformation or postpone the promise of sustainable development to await debt repayment. As part of the strategic configuration of our way forward, my administration intends to not only focus on strengthening and deepening our capital markets to become an alternative source of development capital, but also an alternative form of investment to most Kenyans. This is why we have established for the first time a State Department for Investment Promotion under a principal secretary in the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. To affirm this resolve, my administration will revitalize the capital markets by embarking on privatization of state-owned enterprises where divestiture is overdue and strategic, as well as the introduction of such innovative products as a domestic dollar-denominated bond. I have said and made a commitment, and I have asked the ministry concerned that between 5 and 10 public enterprises that are mature should be listed in the next 12 months. I expect that the private sector will work with the capital markets so that we can also have companies from the private sector listing in the Nairobi Stock Exchange. My government is prepared to work with companies that want to list in the stock exchange to overcome some of the challenges that you may have that are denying you the opportunity to list in the stock exchange. In order for us to do this, the government is embarking on review of the existing privatization law with a view to repealing it or replacing it with a legal and less inhibiting and more facilitative policy framework to steward rapid privatization processes. Even as we seek to strengthen and deepen the capital markets, we are cognizant of the need to protect and promote the small investors. I have instructed the Capital Markets Authority and other relevant departments to work on developing framework that places investor protection, including the enhancement of the Investor Compensation Fund, investor education, and strict enforcement of compliance by market intermediaries as the center of a re-energized capital markets. We must remember that the golden years of our capital market activities were inaugurated by Safaricom initial public offer in 2008, which generated intense public interest, attracting millions of small investors and bringing Mama Mboga to the security exchange. The strong economic performance of those years and the affordability and availability of credit were dividends of this strong public confidence and robust participation in our capital markets. As you will recall, the IPO was consequently oversubscribed by 532%. It is time to bring back those times, and today, as I ring the bell, I shall be inviting all Kenyans, the Hustler Nation, into the Nairobi Securities Exchange and take the Nairobi Securities Exchange to all Kenyans. I remember, and I want to ask the leadership of CDSC, is it? When I asked at that point in time how we can bring small investors, how we can bring ordinary Kenyans to buy into our bonds, we agreed on M-Kopa, but I'm told that M-Akiba. But it did only. There was only one bond list at that time, and it ended there. Mr. Njuguna, you are a big player. You understand how this should work. I am looking forward to the day when our bonds will be shared between the big players and the small players in equal measure. I want to ask, and I must congratulate our banks. They have stood with us. Whenever we went to the market with our bonds, they have supported us. They've always been there. But I also want to ask that we bring the other Kenyans into that space. We all agree it's a profitable space. It's not always you get interest of 10%, 12% guaranteed by government. You're doing well. I mean, the banks are doing well. Let's be honest. But the small people are not doing well. You know, they are getting 2%, 1% for the money they save in our banks. I think it's only fair that we begin the journey to even our returns. Let us even the returns. Because bottom up is about not leaving anyone behind. Let's move together. It's the best way to grow the economy. Inequality breeds suspicion. The more we create an unequal society, the dangerous it becomes. We should proactively, deliberately work together towards minimizing and reducing inequalities in our society by making sure that we democratize opportunities for wealth creation. Let me repeat it again. I am saying we must work deliberately to equalize opportunities and democratize opportunities for wealth acquisition by making sure that we democratize opportunities for each and every one of us to get a slice of the cake. Additionally, my administration has set out its commitment to promote the public-private partnership framework as yet another preferred mode of development financing, which we intend to rely on in mobilizing necessary funding for investment in diverse sectors, including roads, housing, water, energy, ICT, and agriculture. This renewed commitment to the growth of capital markets, inbuilt with well-developed modalities that provide clear and effective exit mechanisms for our public-private partnership investors, should serve as the highest assurance from my administration to investors that their investments are safe and that their investment decisions in Kenya are made in a predictable, coherent, and stable environment. I want to persuade you that the growth of the capital market has to be a shared agenda of my government and the private sector. There is need for both sectors to work together in good faith, develop trust, and make reciprocal contribution to its success. It is my hope and desire that the private sector will reciprocate the government efforts to accelerate privatization and develop our capital markets by offering more privately owned enterprises for listing at the Nairobi Securities Exchange as part of their contribution. And on this note, I want to congratulate Bio for beginning the journey to list in the stock exchange, and also congratulate Credit Bank. I am told that they too, Madam Korir, they too have gotten the necessary approvals to list in the stock exchange. That is a positive signal for all of us, including those of us in the public sector. The envisioned growth of the capital markets will be sustainable through processes that place due consideration to environmental protection and climate change mitigation. I challenge capital markets players to devise with innovative solutions and incentives that reward best practices based on environment, social, and governance principles. I have in mind, for example, such innovations as the issuance of green bonds and the establishment of a secondary market for our carbon credits. Finally, we expect all these measures to culminate in the significant promotion of Kenya's position in the world map of money centers alongside Johannesburg, Frankfurt, London, New York, Shanghai, Tokyo, and Dubai. 5 years ago, Kenya took its initial significant step towards this ambition of enacting the legislation to set up the Nairobi International Financial Center as an authority, as the basis for the formulation of the necessary incentive schemes to attract leading global financial players. We are now taking another step by setting up the proposed Nairobi Financial District. We are taking another step in that journey. We envision the district to be the world's newest and most exciting financial center, as well as the home of choice to the world's leading financial institutions, and envisage it establishing itself firmly as the best place to work and live. This is no idle dream. Nairobi is already a leading destination for international civil servants who work for various multilateral institutions. I call upon the private sector to support and participate in the Nairobi Financial District, which will be set up as the gold standard for our public-private partnership program. We have a plan to transform Kenya. We have the commitment and the political goodwill to do what it takes to actualize it. We have a thriving private sector and a capital market that holds great promise. This moment is pregnant with wonderful possibilities, and we must deliver them together. We stand on the cusp of an opportunity to renew the relationship between Kenyans of all walks of life with the Nairobi Securities Exchange, and to reaffirm the place of the capital markets in igniting and sustaining unprecedented national development and socio-economic transformation. Today, therefore, I'm delighted to ring this bell and to usher in a new era of inclusive transformation possibilities, spanning the public and the private sector, involving all from the bottom up. And let me assure my good brother Kili that I know the contribution of the pension ecosystem in the development of our country. I know what our pension system is doing in mobilizing savings. I am pleased to hear what you can do. You have said we should have given you an opportunity to build the expressway and to build the SGR using local resources. That is exciting. I want to tell you, those two are already done, but there is more we can do. We are discussing the construction of the dual carriageway to Mau Summit with investors. I will welcome you to put in a proposal, and your organizations. And it would really be exciting if we can deliver some of the huge infrastructure using our own resources, structured and mobilized in the correct manner, using the correct instruments. Because of what you have said, you have an appointment in my good office with your various organizations on Thursday afternoon at 2:30. Because that conversation you want us to have, I have also been looking forward to it. So we will pick up from where we have left today, and I hope you mobilize your sector to come and have a conversation with us. We will continue to have this engagement. Nobody has the monopoly of all knowledge, but together we can build a genius economy if we work together. So I am very confident that working together with respect and making sure that we are courteous to one another, we can be able to, and we do not have a choice. Failure, good people, is not an option. This is our country. Collectively, we must work at it and make sure that we all succeed. As my good deputy has said, we are prepared to listen. We want to give way. If we have a good idea and you have a better idea, we will agree to give way our good idea for your better idea, because that's the only way we can take Kenya. We can take Kenya forward. So I want to say thank you very much. I am really proud to be part of this event that hopefully, as I have said earlier, will unlock the potential that exists in Kenya and in Kenyans, and make sure that nobody is left behind. Asanteni sana.
Your Excellency, briefly to remain on stage, very briefly, Your Excellency, sir, and request the chairperson and the CEO to come up the stage and present a gift to His Excellency the President as a memento for this great occasion today. The rest of us, we may be seated kindly as the chairperson, on behalf of NSC, presents a gift to His Excellency.
Your Excellency, the gift that is being presented to you now is the raging bull. You know that the market has, in its ebbs and flows, has a bull and a bear. So the bear signifies a declining market, and a bull signifies a rising market. So the momentum we are presenting to you is the bull and the bell that you have just rung. Thank you, Your Excellency.
After this, I will request all of us to remain seated as His Excellency the President takes his leave, and Your Excellency will plead for 2 photographs outside there.
There you
one
have
with
it.
the Board of Management.
We have been airing live the bell ringing ceremony to mark the launch of the Nairobi Securities Exchange Marketplace by His Excellency the President, Honorable William Samoei Ruto, here at the Exchange Building in Westlands, Nairobi, where we have seen the President launch the NSE Marketplace, which will provide a platform for Kenya to communicate investment opportunities to the world. And as you can see on your screens, we are just showing you pictures of all the invited guests and investors who are looking forward to engage in a different way the new extended NSE Marketplace. And right now the President is about to take some photos with the dignitaries present here. And we shall also see an enhanced NSE where the positioning of the country as a hub for trade, enabling Kenya to attract fresh foreign direct investments across various leading and emerging sectors in Kenya. The NSE Marketplace, equally working closely with the local and international media, the NSE Marketplace will open the trading floor for access to all media houses to communicate investment and economic-related information from the NSE, increasing awareness of opportunities in Kenya. And what came out of this particular bell-ringing ceremony, the President has announced that in the next 12 months, he shall see to it that at least 10 public entities will be privatized so that they are listed in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. We have been live here at Westlands at the Exchange in Nairobi. My name is Alan Aoko. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Back to you, Ben Troy-Njue in studio.
Very well said. Thank you so much, Alan Aoko. Live there, the iconic bell has been rung by the President, enhancing the NSE, which is one of the best in the continent and also is notable in the world. And the business desk will be coming up with a more comprehensive report on the same. But there are quite some digestible points that I have been able to pick up from the President, who has talked about, of course, Alan has mentioned about the privatization of at least 10 companies in the next 1 year. But one thing that I've talked about in the next 100 days is that they want the privatization laws amended so as to accommodate a lot. And for the border and the Mamamboga there, you've heard that the President wants a position or a time will come that will enhance to the point that when you're waiting for a customer as a Mamamboga and also as a border guy, you can be able to trade using your phone. A third of Kenya's GDP is actually controlled by phone. Well said. As I have alluded to earlier, is that the business desk will be coming up with the more comprehensive report on the same. Indeed, my name is Ben Troy-Njue, and we have been keeping a keen eye on that report. And we are now going to be switching over to News Check. I have a scientist, I have an engineer, and I also have an advocate of the High Court. Well, I'll be introducing my panel, and the topic of discussion will be the politics of the day. We'll be back after these short messages.
To get Change Your Thinking Skizatune, dial star 811 star 961 hash.
When you change the quality of your thinking, you change the quality of your life. Sometimes instantly, just as positive words can make someone calm, smile or laugh, your thoughts will react to the world in real time. So, change the quality of your thinking.
Dial star 811 star 961 hash. Star 811 star 961 hash.
The legends and familiar chants will grace KBC once again. Don't miss the...
At KBC Channel 1, we put people at the heart of events with our captivating weekly news features. Every day, we are breaking new grounds with informative, entertaining, and inspiring human interest stories. On Mondays, 9 p.m., we have The Cabinets. Tuesday, 9 p.m., we get inside the barracks for military tales. We delve in the world of cinemas and theater each Wednesday night. For the young and industrious, make a date with us every Thursday at 9 p.m. Fridays are dedicated for My Culture. On Saturdays, we go back in time for History in Perspective. And on Sundays, we get to know the process of how things are done and made. KBC Channel 1 News features a whole lot of wonderful viewing experience.
If you are a holder of any unclaimed financial assets, surrender all unclaimed financial assets in your possession to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, today without having to pay interest or penalties. Take advantage of the Finance Act 2022 moratorium on penalties and interests. For more information, visit www.ufaa.go.ke/holders. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
Again, good morning and thanks for keeping it KBC. This is KBC News Check. My name is Ben Troy Njuen. Susan Thuku will be our sign language interpreter for the next couple of minutes or so. Indeed, we are live from the broadcasting house, and as usual, News Check, we're here to ensure that we keep you